First story. I refused to wish my son a happy birthday and skipped it, favoring his brother, thinking he would apologize and beg me to celebrate him. But my entitled son said he had lost hope in me and that he has a family that loves him without conditions. So I gave him a reality check, telling him his work, jokes, and hobbies are SHT. Now he has left my house and abandoned me. The title sounds effed up, but hear me out before jumping down my throat. This happened last year, but it's still a point of contention in my house because my mum just brought it up again while I was planning my youngest son's birthday. I 45F have 3 boys ages 23, 15, and 5. The one in question here is the middle one, the 15-year-old. He's always been the quiet creative type, keeps to himself, likes weird SHT like alien movies, and spends hours making those stop-motion videos in his room with his phone and figurines. I used to think it was cute, but honestly, lately it's been getting on my nerves how blunt and disrespectful he's become. It really started back in 2022. He hit puberty, or something flipped in his head, because all of a sudden, every conversation turned into some sarcastic wisecrack. He thinks he's clever, but he ruins jokes by over-explaining them, makes snarky comments when adults are talking, and just generally has this attitude like he knows better than everyone. Sometimes it's funny, but most of the time it just comes off as rude, especially when I'm trying to have a serious conversation or plan something nice. And he just shrugs it off with some witty one-liner that kills the vibe. Anyway, fast forward to last March's birthday. I asked him a few weeks ahead where he wanted to have his party. I like to make birthdays a big deal, especially for my boys. He flat out told me he didn't want one. He said he was busy working on his film, and that he just wanted to be left alone to edit his latest stop-motion short. I was like, okay, but what about your friends and the family? Don't you think people would like to come over and celebrate you? And he looks at me dead serious and goes, they can call or text or post on Instagram if they care that much. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of shocked. Like, really? Just text me. No dinner, no cake with candles, no seeing your grandparents or cousins. And when I tried to tell him that people would feel hurt if they couldn't see him, he got this annoyed look on his face and said, don't guilt trip me. I don't fall for that anymore. He also made this dig about how most people who come to the parties are just coworkers' kids that he barely knows. Which fine, maybe that's true, but it's the principle. It's about showing up for each other as a family. I remember just walking away from him, because once he gets that smug little tone, there's no winning. This wasn't the first time he acted like this either. Back in 2021, during his older brother's college send-off party, he spent the whole time holed up in his room and only came out to grab a slice of pizza before going back in. When I asked him to help clean up afterwards, he rolled his eyes and muttered something like, it's not my event. Why do I need to stay? We had a full argument about it. And I remember thinking, who the hell raised this kid to act so damn entitled? Apparently, me. And yeah, before someone says it, I do spend more time with my youngest. He's only 5, still in that age where he wants hugs, playtime, and storybooks. I'm not ashamed of that. He needs me more right now. The older ones are more independent. But the middle one, he takes my attention to the youngest as some sort of favoritism. And he's made snide comments about it for years. So, back to the birthday when the actual day comes around. His dad, my ex, drops him off with some weird arse gift. A xenomorph alien figure. I effing hate those ugly things. Just looking at it made me uncomfortable. But of course my son was thrilled. His grandma, my mum, gave him his gift too, and his siblings told him happy birthday. I was on the couch with my dog, scrolling Twitter, just not in the mood. I didn't say anything to him. Some people are going to say that's cold, and maybe it was, but I was honestly just over it. Over the snark, over the, I'm too cool for my own birthday attitude. I figured if he didn't want to celebrate, then fine, he could get exactly what he wanted. No big deal made about it. He can't have it both ways. You can't shut down any effort to show love and then expect people to go out of their way to say happy birthday when you've made it clear you don't care. So I didn't say it. I stayed quiet the whole day. He seemed content with the gifts from the others and spent most of the day editing videos in his room. Meanwhile, I spent the day with my 5-year-old. We played Legos, watched cartoons, and baked cookies. We had a good day. I wasn't going to let my teenager's sulking ruin that. Later that night, though, I decided I should explain myself. Maybe I felt a little guilty, or maybe I just wanted him to know I wasn't doing it out of pure coldness, but out of principle. I went into his room, and I told him, the reason I didn't say happy birthday is because I'm tired of how you ruin things with your sarcasm and how you act like you don't care about anyone but yourself. He just sat there looking at me, not even blinking, before saying, "Okay, I don't care that you didn't say it. I had my family and friends reach out. What hurts more is that you did it just to be petty and malicious." Then he brought up how he's lost faith in me over the years, how I clearly play favorites, and how he's sick of me trying to justify it by playing the victim. He even brought up politics, said something like, "You spend half the day praising Trump on Facebook, but can't even say happy birthday to your own son." That effing stung. I'll admit it. I'm not someone who cries easily, but that one got under my skin. And when I tried to defend myself and list all the things I've done for him, school pickups, doctor visits, holidays, birthday parties for years, he cut me off with, "God, please stop. Don't guilt trip me for something you signed up to be as a parent. You literally ignored my birthday just to be malicious, and now you're playing the martyr. Please leave me alone. You're making my night worse." At that point, I just left the room. I was exhausted. I went downstairs and poured myself a glass of wine and sat in the dark. I felt like absolute SHT, but also kind of angry. Like, how the hell did this kid get so cold? And just when I thought the night couldn't get worse, my mom cornered me. She had that tone, the disappointed, judgmental one she pulls out when she's decided I'm the villain of the day. She didn't yell, and she didn't swear, but that quiet voice somehow stung worse than screaming. "You really didn't say happy birthday to him? Not even a hey, I'm proud of you?" I told her. He didn't want a celebration. He made that clear. Why would I force something he didn't want? She looked at me and said, "You didn't say it because you were mad. You punished him emotionally, and you know it." I didn't say anything. She kept going. "You're the adult. He's 15. He might act like he's grown, but he's still a kid. And you ghosted him on his birthday." That pissed me off. I didn't ghost him. I made him breakfast that morning. I let him have his quiet day. I didn't slam doors or yell or make a scene. I just didn't say the one sentence he didn't seem to care about anyway. But here's the kicker. This came back up this year, while I was planning my 5-year-old's birthday. I was picking out decorations and talking to my youngest about what kind of cake he wanted. And my mom goes, "I just hope you don't ghost this one too." It felt like a slap. I snapped. I won't lie. I told her to drop it, that I wasn't in the mood to rehash it. But the damage was done again. The moment she said it, I could feel all the guilt and resentment boil right back up. And I started questioning myself again. Because here's the thing, I do everything for my kids. I've worked overtime shifts, skipped holidays, dealt with their father's bullshit, helped with homework, dealt with tantrums, doctor visits, lice outbreaks, and late night runs to Walmart for school projects. I've done it all. And the middle one. He was my Velcro baby once. The same kid who used to cry if I left the room now barely speaks to me unless he's got a sarcastic jab ready. And maybe I was being petty that day. Maybe I did want to remind him that words cut both ways and that pushing people away comes with consequences. But now I'm sitting here, months later, and it still weighs on me. Not because I think he cared all that much about not hearing happy birthday from me, but because it broke something a little more between us. And maybe it was already cracked to begin with. And yeah, he's not a perfect angel. He's not emotionally mature, like Reddit loves to claim every teenager is. He's blunt. He says SHT that hits too close. He's the kind of kid who'll look you in the eye and tell you that your Facebook posts are embarrassing and your music taste sucks. He questions everything, especially authority. And he's not affectionate, not even with his siblings. The 23-year-old tolerates him. The 5-year-old idolizes him. And I think that's the only person he softens for anymore. But he's also smart. He's never been in trouble at school. His teachers love him. He has friends online and in real life. He's creative as hell. And I do think it's impressive that he spends hours creating entire stop-motion movies instead of just playing video games like everyone else. So it's not that I don't love him. It's that he's hard to mother sometimes. And I know that's not his fault. But it doesn't make it easier. And yeah, I probably favor the 5-year-old. He's easier. He hugs me. He tells me I'm pretty. He still thinks I'm the center of the universe. I know that won't last forever, but for now, it's comforting. And I think my 15-year-old sees that. And maybe that makes things worse. Also, to add context, since people always ask this on AITA, his dad and I divorced 5 years ago. We have a functional co-parenting relationship, but it's clear that my ex and my mom both align more with my son, especially politically. They all hate Trump. I don't care if people disagree with me, but it's become another sore spot. My son even made a joke once about how I probably think climate change is fake. I laughed it off, but deep down it pissed me off. He acts like I'm an idiot for having my own views. So when I hear, "You didn't say happy birthday just to be malicious," part of me thinks, yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I wanted you to feel something. But then I remember he just shrugged it off. And that's what kills me. It didn't even seem to hurt him. It just added another tally to the wall between us. Now here I am, planning my 5-year-old's birthday, and I feel like a goddamn hypocrite. I'm ordering cake, setting up decorations, making sure it's magical, while this other voice in my head is saying, "You didn't even say the words to the one who actually understands what they mean." And yet part of me still thinks, why does no one talk about how cruel teenagers can be? Why is it always about what the parent failed to do? Kids say SHT that cuts deep and expect you to absorb it like a punching bag. Then the moment you react, suddenly you're emotionally abusive. What the hell? Anyway, I've been carrying this for months, and the comment from my mum just threw it all back in my face. I know I might be a BTCH here. I'm not denying I was being petty that day, but I'm also sick of feeling like everything I do is just taken for granted. So now I'm putting it out here. I didn't say happy birthday to my kid because I was tired of being dismissed and disrespected. I let him have the quiet day he asked for. I chose silence. But now I wonder if that silence did more harm than all the arguments we've ever had. What do the people on Reddit think? Comments. Comment 1. YTA. And honestly, your son seems more emotionally intelligent than you are. He clearly said people could wish him happy birthday, he just didn't want a party. That's not ruining the vibe. That's setting a boundary. And you responded by intentionally not acknowledging his birthday. Then going into his room later just to explain how you were being petty on purpose. That's emotional sabotage. Also, stop acting like basic parenting earns you sainthood. I picked him up from school and made him food. Yeah, that's the bare effing minimum, not a reason to weaponize birthdays. No wonder he's pulling away. Comment 2. YTA. Massively. You ignored your own kid's birthday because you were in your feelings. You didn't like that he didn't want a forced party and used that as some twisted justification to punish him with silence. That's toxic as hell. Then the kicker. You dragged in Trump and your 5-year-old as a way to make yourself the victim. Like, how the hell is this about you? You're not the victim here. You're just proving his point. Comment 3. YT a 1000%. He's 15. And instead of talking to him like a parent and trying to understand why he's withdrawn or sarcastic, you threw a silent tantrum and skipped his birthday. That's F-ed up. Also, he didn't say, "Don't talk to me." He said, "Don't throw me a party with random people I don't care about." Totally fair. You twisted that into, "I won't even say happy birthday," like some passive-aggressive bullshit move, then tried to guilt him later with, "After all I've done for you." That's exactly what he meant by guilt tripping. And then you act surprised when he tells you he's lost respect for you. If you keep this up, don't be shocked when he cuts you off once he's 18. Update. Wow. I was not expecting this level of backlash. I thought I'd get some NTA responses, or at least a few people who could understand where I was coming from. But instead, it's like a swarm of perfect parents descended just to SHT on me. To the people who called me a SHTTY mum. Go F right off. I've done everything for these kids, and one silent day makes me the arsehole. Really. Spare me. First of all, let's clear something up because a lot of you clearly skimmed my post or just chose to twist it. My son didn't want a birthday party. I get it. Fine. But that doesn't mean he gets to be a smug little arsehole about everything else and expect some heartfelt message from me like we're all good. He didn't act like he gave a damn about it. And frankly, I wasn't in the mood to fake it. I didn't ruin anything. I gave him exactly what he said he wanted: space. But after reading the responses here, I went to talk to him again. I showed him some of the comments. You know what he did? He laughed. He actually effing laughed. Said, "Reddit figured you out in one post," then walked out of the room like you won. Like it's a game. That pissed me off. And now everyone's acting like I'm this emotionally manipulative monster. For what? Not saying happy birthday to a 15-year-old who treats everyone like they're beneath him. Who calls me out on my political beliefs in front of my own mother. Who skips family events, mocks me online, and acts like he's some genius because he can make plastic dolls move on camera. Sorry, but no, that's not how this works. My mum, who apparently has decided she's the moral compass, now jumped on the bandwagon too. She said I should be ashamed after reading the comments. She even forwarded the post to my sister, who called me and said, "You're acting like our mother, and not in a good way." That pissed me off more than I can explain. Our mother was abusive. I'm not her. I've never laid a hand on any of my kids. I just expected basic respect. But now I'm just like her for not saying a sentence. Get the F out of here with that. To make things worse, my ex, their dad, texted me out of the blue with some bullshit like, maybe this is a good opportunity to reflect. He barely parents, but now he wants to show up as the sensitive co-parent. Please. He shows up on holidays, drops gifts, and disappears. But I'm the bad guy because I'm here every damn day and dared to have one off moment. Even my oldest, the 23-year-old, has gone quiet. He didn't say much at first, but now he's giving me short answers like he's trying not to pick a side. Which honestly just feels like a side in itself. If anyone in this family had my back, it'd be him, but even he seems like he's avoiding the fallout. And now my 15-year-old is spending more time at his dad's. Supposedly because it's quieter there. Translation: less accountability. Less parenting. Less being told when he's being a jerk. And don't even get me started on the hypocrisy. He's been disrespectful for years. This isn't new. He refused to help clean after his brother's send-off party. He skipped Mother's Day 2 years in a row, and once wrote a whole bit for his YouTube where he parodied me as a guilt-tripping narcissist. Yes, those were his words. I found it in his drafts folder and deleted it. He never brought it up, so I didn't either, but I haven't forgotten. But yeah, sure, Reddit. I'm the toxic one. I also find it laughable how people keep parroting the same line. Parenting is a choice, not a favor. No SHT. But doing everything alone while getting disrespected constantly. That's not parenting. That's being a punching bag. Everyone says, you chose to have kids. Yeah, I did. I chose to raise them, feed them, clothe them, and go broke for them. But nowhere in the manual did it say I had to swallow every bit of disrespect and just smile through it like a doormat. And no, I'm not sorry for liking Trump. That has nothing to do with the issue. And the fact that so many of you jumped on that as proof of me being a bad parent just proves how blindsided and biased some of you are. My political opinions don't affect my ability to provide for my kids. But apparently being conservative now means I'm emotionally abusive. The whole reason I posted in the first place was because I wanted perspective, not a effing mob. But instead, the comment section turned into a free-for-all with people basically telling me I deserve to be alone, and that my son will cut me off. Some of you really need to look in the mirror. Half the people judging me probably haven't raised a damn thing in their life except a cat. Here's the truth. Parenting today is a joke. You can't discipline. You can't speak plainly. Everything is abuse or trauma or toxic. Kids are being raised to think their feelings are more important than facts, that every emotion needs to be validated like it's gospel. Meanwhile, if a parent even breathes wrong, it's time to cut contact and go no contact like you're escaping a war criminal. So no, I'm not sorry. I'm not the arsehole. I'm a tired, overworked mother who gave her kid exactly what he asked for: space. And now I'm being crucified because I didn't give him fake affection on a day he opted out of. That's the real story. You want an update? Fine. Here it is. My son is barely speaking to me. My mom won't let it go. My ex and my sister think they're superior. My oldest is silent. And I feel like the only person in this house who still looks at me like I matter is my 5-year-old. Maybe that's my fault. Or maybe it's just because he's the only one who hasn't been poisoned yet. The rest of you can keep screaming YTA if it makes you feel better. Maybe some people out there do understand what it's like to raise a kid who resents you for breathing, while everyone expects you to keep giving and giving with a smile. Can I get one NTA comment in here? Or are the mods asleep at the wheel? Comments. Comment 1. Can I get one NTA comment in here? You're not looking for advice. You're looking for applause after performing an emotional hit job on your own child. You didn't post to reflect, you posted expecting validation from strangers because the people in your life stopped enabling you. That's why this update reads like a tantrum. And let's be clear, your son didn't manipulate Reddit. You exposed yourself. Every bitter sentence you wrote confirmed what he said, that you're petty, vindictive, and too emotionally stunted to recognize that parenting isn't a effing scoreboard. You didn't lose the room because we're soft. You lost it because we've met people like you, and we've cut them out too. Comment 2. You said you gave him what he wanted. But what you gave was a calculated act of emotional neglect dressed up as boundaries. You're not a misunderstood parent. You're a textbook narcissist. Everything becomes about you. Your kid asks for space. He's rejecting you. He doesn't want a party. You weaponize silence. He shares his feelings. He's being manipulative. Even your fake apology tour spiraled into "everyone hates me, poor me," while you trashed your child for laughing. your mum for holding you accountable, and your 5-year-old for being too young to see through you. You didn't fall from grace, you dug yourself a hole and can't stand that people are looking in. Comment 3. This is less an update and more a character study in delusion. You blame your son, your ex, your mother, your sister, the mods, and even Reddit as a whole, but at no point do you stop and say, wait, am I the problem here? You're not being crucified for missing one happy birthday. You're being called out for your calculated cruelty, for the mental gymnastics you do to justify it, and for the absolute absence of self-awareness in every word you type. Your son didn't laugh because he won. He laughed because he's known for years what you just showed the rest of us. You'll always be the victim in your own story, even when you're the one holding the knife. Second story. My married coworker of 2 years told me she had feelings for me and wanted me to leave my wife and fight for her because she was having problems in her marriage and couldn't stand seeing my wife so happy with me. First of all, sorry, English is not my first language. So, it is as the title says. We work at the same office. She sits at the desk across from mine and is married as well as I am. And recently we've been talking more with each other, but nothing out of the ordinary. I have a good relationship with pretty much everyone here, except for Carl Carl, and your credit-stealing habits. Just cheap chat about regular stuff. How was the weekend? Look at this funny video. What do you think about this, that, etc. Then she started texting, telling me that she is surprised about how easy it is to talk to me and how she enjoys how the conversation just flows. And I was like, cool, me too, you're nice. Last week, I left my car at the auto repair since the brake started to make a funny noise. And since she lives 2 blocks away from where I live, I asked for a ride home. We are in traffic going home, talking about regular stuff. And then she brings up the subject again about how nice our conversations have been. And I agree. I have plenty of female friends, so this is not uncommon for me. Then she starts talking about how interesting it is that we have some different opinions about stuff. But we get along well anyway, and I'm like, yeah, sure. This is when I notice things got effing weird. She then says she started looking at me differently, and that she's attracted to me, and puts her hand on my thigh. I thanked her and told her she's nice and good looking. But we're just colleagues. We're both married, I respect her. But I'm not interested, so no way anything is going to happen. The rest of the ride was an awkward silence. When I got home, she kept texting me about how we're getting along so well and stuff, how she is not in the best moment in her marriage, etc. Then I received a lot of Instagram notifications of her mass liking my photos. I replied to the texts, trying not to be rude, saying that maybe she should use her energy and time to resolve the problems she is having at home instead of this. At this point, I think she is crazy, and the best way to avoid any problems is to just dismiss the crazy SHT she is saying, and keep it cool and distant, since we work together in a 55-person company. She says it's not just physical attraction, and that she's jealous and can't stand seeing my wife's posts on Instagram with me. Red alert. And now she wants to meet me after work, or during the lunch break out of the office to talk about things. I haven't told any of this to my wife yet, and I was not planning to do so, since she has been way too stressed out recently with her job and some problems with her parents. So I'd like to know from the almighty and all-knowing Reddit how to avoid this crazy lady getting crazier and trying to cause problems at work and with my marriage. Wives of Reddit, if you were my wife, would you like me to tell you what's happening or just deal with it? My plan so far is to let her know again that I'm not interested. Just play it cool and dismiss what she is saying, and slowly decrease the number of interactions we have until everything fades into regular coworker stuff. TLDR. A crazy married female colleague wants me, but I just want her to stop being crazy. How to do that? Should I tell my wife stressed about other stuff what's going on, or just deal with it? Top commenter. You need to tell 2 people. Your wife. Human resources. Show them the texts, including your request that she stop contacting you hitting on you. You need to tell your wife and HR, because this could easily spiral out of control, and you need to be on top of the story. Also, you have to trust your wife, man. Then, stop talking to this coworker about anything that isn't directly work-related. Update. Sorry it took so long to update you. First of all, thanks for all the advice. Since it was the first time this happened to me in such a blunt way, I tried to handle it the best I could, but I was kind of lost about what to do. So thanks again. Your advice really helped me. Following your advice, I got home yesterday, asked my wife to sit down, and told her what was going on. I showed her all the messages and explained to her in detail what happened. She was really concerned and didn't get mad or anything. She was just worried that using her words, that BTCH would ruin your career and stress you out. So I told her I would talk to my boss and HR the next day. And so I did. I arrived earlier and scheduled the meeting with HR, and my boss, he went pale when I told him I'd like to talk with him and HR together later. He said he thought I would quit. Haha. I sat down with them, asked them to be prepared for a Mexican soap opera, and then showed them all the messages and explained to them all that happened. I told them I'd like her to be moved to another desk, and that I trusted them to discipline her, so she would stop harassing me. They listened very quietly, nodding between the sentences and asking quick questions, when in doubt. After I finished telling my tale, they said they would call her in to talk and address the subject, and that I could rest assured they would take all reasonable measures. I went back to my desk and got to work. I was going on a business trip to Ciudad de Mexico the following week, so I was pretty busy. Then I heard the BSCC phone, short for Bat SHT, crazy coworker, ring. She looked at me with suspicion in her eyes when she got up and went to talk to the HR. I tried to avoid eye contact and didn't express anything. 1 hour later, she comes back crying, gets her purse and leaves. Everybody in the office was, WTF just happened? My boss then called me into his office and told me what happened. They told her I told them what was going on. And then she made a whole dramatic SHT show, saying she was in love with me and was fighting for what she thought was right, etc., etc., etc. My boss and the HR person dismissed her silly arguments and told her she would need to keep things professional and move to another desk. Otherwise, they would have to rescind the work contract. And she preferred to get fired. So from now on, she no longer works with me. It has been 2 weeks, and so far nothing related to the subject has happened. So I guess my life is back the way I like it. Just peace and quiet. So, thanks again for all the advice. I think my thoughts were kind of clouded by this SHT. You guys made me think clearly, so thanks. TLDR, told my wife she was awesome. Told the boss and HR. They were awesome. The crazy BTCH was fired, which is awesome. I have my life back. Peace and quiet. Relevant comments. Comment 1. They told her I told them what was going on. Then she made a whole dramatic SHT show, saying she was in love with me and was fighting for what she thought was right, etc., etc., etc. Wow, this woman is mentally ill. No joke. She is completely detached from reality if she's pulling SHT like this when facing both her boss and HR. That is unhinged. Keep a sharp eye out, OP. She knows where you live, and she's no longer constrained by the prospect of losing her job. Don't hesitate to call the police if she shows up. Comment 2. This. OP, if possible, have your boss and HR give you something in writing about what happened in case you need it for documentation purposes with the authorities. You might also want to write out your own quick log of everything that happened, and when while it is still fresh in your mind. Check into what your legal options might be just in case. I know it sounds like overkill, but trust me, you don't want to let your guard down just yet. This woman is potentially dangerous. Comment 3. I agree with all this. I would just add that the messages, etc. she left should be kept too. Better to not need them than to regret trashing them. OP. Guys, thanks for this. I think I've been a little naive believing this would stop now. Following your comments here, I wrote my logs, made a backup of all the messages, and requested HR for a formal letter explaining what happened. I was considering going to a police station and checking what I could do to get this registered, in case anything happens. But I don't think this is necessary, with all the other measures I took. Comment 4. My question is, was she always this crazy, or are you that good-looking and charming that you drove her insane, so that she couldn't have you? Comment 5. I must admit he does sound completely adorable and charming. No wonder she fell for him. OP. I've been working with her for 2 years, but we never talked much before this happened, so I cannot claim anything for sure. But before all this drama, she didn't let any craziness show up. Now about myself, you're making me feel embarrassed. I'm not that self-aware. Comment 6. Maybe a bipolar or manic episode. Just speculating, but it is weird that it took her 2 years. Seems like it escalated quickly once she set her sights on you. OP. Well, I'm also known for not being very perceptive, and I never paid much attention to her, so it can be my fault on this point. Edit. I know this subreddit only allows one update, and I waited 15 days to post this. But this is important, so I guess an edit won't hurt anyone. Mods, please let me know if this is not cool. Just got a call from her husband. Apparently, she was crying all weekend and told him on Monday why she was fired. He told her he didn't buy her version of the facts, since she contradicted herself in several points of her story. He told her to call the company to clarify what happened, and now was calling me just to make sure. I told him everything and offered to show him the messages. We are going to meet in an hour in a coffee shop next to the office. He sounded hurt, but very clear-minded. Just told my boss, HR, and my wife that I'm going to meet him, and my boss offered to go with me. Man, I'm surrounded by good people. Edit 2. Just came back from the meeting with her husband. It was all very quick. I arrived with my boss. He was waiting for me. I just showed him the messages in my phone and answered some questions about what happened, and that was it. He said he just wanted to be sure, because she deleted all of her messages. He said this was not the first time something like that had happened and apologized for everything. He said she was seeing a psychologist in the past, but she had stopped going recently. I just said I didn't want anything to do with it, that I came to meet him just to make clear I didn't want any of this to happen. Wished him the best and left. He just nodded and apologized again as I left. I'm surprised with his reaction. Maybe he doesn't seem to be angry because they passed through something similar before. I don't know and really don't care. I've just had enough drama, and I'm glad this wasn't another one. So, let's hope this is the end. Thanks for your support and advice on this. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.